Well, I must say good morning. I must say that it does feel a little bit surreal because one thing that we want to remind us all that we must not fall into a trap of kind of normalizing what's happening. And these negotiations, these are just early days. This is just the beginning of a very long and complex process. But we must just remember that Russia is still an aggressor, that Russia is still a country responsible for war crimes. Russia is still a country that has abducted 20,000 Ukrainian children, and their leader stands accused of the crime of genocide for this. And we have to remember that this is still about our shared values. It's about freedom and democracy. It's about good and evil. So, we watch these scenes from Saudi Arabia, and our president today is actually meeting another important counterparty, Recep Erdogan in Turkey. And, these are early days of these negotiations, and we just have to be patient and let's not read too much into, the statements that are made at this early stage.
But we know that President Trump does want something done. He said during his campaign that he wanted it done quickly. Are you fearful that a deal could be done without you being there?
No, we're not fearful because that's just simply not possible. Mathematically, practically, it is not possible to force any deal upon Ukraine because we live in a democratic country and our president is elected by constitution to represent the Ukrainian people. And the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian army are also sitting at that table, and nothing can happen without our consent. So rest assured, and I think this is the position that has been reaffirmed by the United States directly, that Ukraine will be party of these negotiations. And like I said, early stages, the White House believes that for these negotiations to go forward, they need to do these preliminary moves. And if they think this strategy will work, it's fine by us. But what we know that Russia cannot be trusted, and this is why no matter what is the setup at the negotiating table, security guarantees must be discussed, and everybody, like our partners, must be involved. Europe, the United States of America, because otherwise none of us is interested in having a ceasefire that will result in Russia just buying more time, producing more weapons, making more friends like Iran and North Korea, and starting a new all-out war, this time on a larger scale, a year or 2 years down the line.
And are you optimistic that a deal can be done that leads to a ceasefire and the end of the war on your terms?
Well, look, we know that, and we have made it very clear, that's why we held the Peace Summit. We, like no other nation in the world, want this war to end. If there is a chance, even the smallest, slightest chance that the war can be ended through negotiating process, with certain issues, of course, will not be resolved, right? Because, we cannot compromise on our independence, on our territorial sovereignty and integrity. But we understand that we have to be, flexible, and it has to be give and take. And certain things will have to be postponed in time. Like, for example, in this negotiating process, the membership of NATO cannot be discussed. But it's in this negotiating process at this point in time. We can come back to this issue and many others in the future. But like I said, we want peace more than anybody else. This is why if there is a minimal chance that these negotiations will lead to it, we'll take it.
Yuriy Sak, thank you very much for joining us live from Kyiv. And a reminder that we have a live page running online with the very latest from those talks between US and Russian officials that are taking place in Saudi Arabia, as we've been saying, without Ukraine. You'll find that on the BBC News website or app.